Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Fearless Generations with Terry Sayer and Kelly Fox.
Hello and welcome to Fearless Generations, 12 Steps to Freedom. It is step 10, trust. And I am Kelly Fox, and we are super excited to be here and continue the conversation going with trust. I was going to say it's my favorite, and I say that a lot, but really trust is one that is my core. Trust is where it all starts for me. Tonight we're going to be talking about letting go of control. Oh, that silly thing called control. So let's get the conversation going and start off by saying, how are you doing tonight, Terry?
I'm doing great. It's wonderful to be here with you. I missed last week because we were in the middle of doing a fireworks show here in my hometown, and I was in charge of that, so Kelly had to do it by herself. So I missed it last week. I'm happy to be here this week.
Yes, I explained it all. They're all very understanding.
So good.
You know how I love trust. So why don't you share with us, what does trust mean to you? What is trusting yourself? What does that mean to you? Go for it.
Well, I think trust has a lot of different layers. You mentioned trusting yourself. I think it also means trusting the process, trusting, for me, trusting God, for having faith. I think trust and faith are interconnected. Trusting is surrendering, letting go and allowing the process of learning and growing and accepting your journey here on the earth. And so trust is a big deal. I mean, it has many layers. Trusting yourself, I know that's something that you and I have talked about a lot, and you've talked about a lot. That's your essential nature, to trust, and how it took you, for all of us, as we passed from being children where we trust our parents and really, haven't developed that self-regulation where we can trust ourselves as we mature. But it's really a capacity to navigate life and have the courage to do things even if they're out of our comfort zone, because we trust in the process of learning. And we know and have faith and trust in God that our journey is one where we're going to learn and have a growth mindset as we negotiate this journey of life, and trusting that even in the midst of challenges, there's a lot to be learned, and that if we have that mindset and trust that things are for our good, our eventual good, then we can trust the process, and we can learn from whatever comes into our lives, the challenges as well as the really happy times and the opportunities to grow, and trust that all of that will help us to live our purpose and our passion, and help us to be, to grow into the people that we were created to be. So trusting ourselves, trusting the process, trusting God, all of those things are components of trust.
Yeah, agreed. I think that, well, for me, it kind of started with recognizing that I could trust my connection with God. I could trust that He was guiding me and that I was doing what He wanted me to do. And if I could trust myself to do that, then I could trust myself to do other things. And that's really where it started to build for me.
Yeah.
And it may be different for others. And God is my higher power. It could be, for you, it might be the universe, spirit, whatever you call it. But that's where it started for me. And I think letting go of control, as it is the topic tonight, comes down to, a lot of that for me comes down to trusting God. Things don't go the way that we want them to a lot. And, it's trusting the process, trusting that things are happening for your good, trusting that good things will come, that all of the unknown is going to work itself out, because it's all meant to happen for us to grow and for us to become better people and for us to support others and to be able to be of service to others. And in those moments when things are challenging and difficult things happen, it's really challenging for me to stay in that mind space, that this is all for my good and to trust. But that's where I come back to. I might be doubting in the moment of the situation, and maybe several moments of that situation, but eventually that's what I'm working to get back to. That's what I'm working to come back to center and to trust myself, trust my process, trust my higher power, and trust that it's all for my good, and regardless if it feels that way or not.
I think when we talk about control, and trusting in that particular venue, I often talk with my clients when they are really frustrated and just ask them, well, is that within your control or not within your control? And really, we have to trust that what we can control is our reaction, our mindset, our attitude, when it comes to challenges and opportunities. So that's really all we control, is our own actions, our own thoughts, our own words. That's all we control. And trusting, like you said, in the process of living our life, the process of making choices, the process of interacting with other people, the process of living up to our intentions and being personally responsible. Those are the things we have control over. And when we get frustrated and we, become discouraged, it's often because we're trying to control something that's not within our control. And so we've talked a lot about setting intentions and not having expectations. And I think all of that helps us when we think about trust. We trust our intuitions. We trust our insights. We trust those connections we have with our higher power. But that's all us. We can trust ourselves. And I know we like to trust other people, and I think we can trust other people. But again, we don't have control over other people. So we can have connections, we can have relationships with other people, but really the only thing we can trust and know for sure is the way we react, the way we respond, the way we treat others, the way we respect others and we respect ourselves. And all of that can build trust among the people that we have relationships with, like our family and our friends. We learn to trust them based upon the interactions that we have. And I think it's, so it's trust, again, as we said a couple of times now, is multi-layered. multi-leveled. You know, there's just so many ways we can have trust in our lives. But when we talk about control, we really only have control over ourselves, trusting our process, trusting our relationship with God or our higher power, you know, and trusting the process that we're going to engage in as we journey on this life. So, yeah, control and not control. That's a really interesting concept for people to think about when they're thinking about trust, because you can make a list. You know, you can make a T-chart of control and don't control, and you can put all those things down, and it comes down to we really can control ourselves.
Yes, we have a tool like that in Fearless Living where we make a T-chart and we list what we can control on one side and what we can't control on the other. And it helps us to know where we can put our energy, because putting our energy into things that we can't control isn't going to be of any benefit to us. Yeah. Well, everybody, I want to introduce our guest coach. We had a little bit of confusion between calling into the show and logging on to Zoom. So she is here now. So please, everyone, welcome Limor Bergman Gross.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Sorry for the confusion. How are you?
No problem.
We are good. So please introduce yourself to the audience. Tell us who you get to serve and what you get to do.
Sure. So hi, everyone. My name is Limor Bergman Gross, and I'm a coach. Mainly, I serve leaders in tech. My passion is supporting women in the tech industry to achieve success and whatever they desire in their career and their life.
Awesome. We love supporting women as well, so that's how we just, get together so well, collaborate so well. That's the word I was wanting. So we're super excited to have you here, and we're talking about trust and letting go of control. So what is the concept of trust to you, and how do you support your clients with gaining more trust?
Yeah, so trust is first and foremost believing in yourself, your capabilities, and believing that your intuition is right most of the times, and believing that you know what is best and you know how to make the right decisions. So that's first and foremost, and usually I work with my clients to first listen to their inner voice and dim the voices that are holding them back, and empower themselves to make the right decisions, because many of the times they know what they need to do. So I think first and foremost when talking about trust is that inner voice and trusting ourselves to make the right decisions.
Yeah, I agree. How do you support your clients with that?
Yeah, so we usually, talk about their beliefs, their inner beliefs, and what they see as possible for themselves, what they think they can control versus what they think they cannot control. So you talked about controlling and losing control, so a lot of times, I just had a client yesterday that was very frustrated because a lot of things were not happening as he wanted. And eventually, we talked about what he can control and what he cannot control, and what he can influence and what he cannot influence. And that just by itself, just putting that on the surface and talking about things that are beyond his control, allowed him to understand that a lot of things he just should put aside and not be frustrated about, because he cannot control everything. He cannot control behaviors of other people or organizational structure or, culture of the organization, and just sometimes letting go of things that beyond what he can control just help him relax and understand that he's doing the right things and the maximum that he can do.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we just need to think it out, right? Or write it down, or just up your awareness around what you can control and what you can't. And that alone sometimes is just enough to say, okay, I have absolutely no control over this particular part of the situation. I'm going to let go of it and focus on this part that I do have control over.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that. Love that. Yeah, and we talked earlier about how in Fearless Living we have a tool just like this where you make a T and you write on one side of it, you write what you can control, and the other, you write what you can't. And sometimes when I have clients do this exercise, it surprises me how many things they feel or they can actually control that they see. Because for me, when I'm in it, I don't necessarily see the things that I can control. I see all the things I want to control, and I can't. So it always surprises me how when we kind of take ourselves back and look at the situation and see where we can control things, and then where we can let go of this illusion or this desire or this frustration with the things that we can't.
Absolutely. Yeah. And as you mentioned, a lot of things people think that they cannot control, but they actually have way more ability to influence than they think. So usually what I do is I because a lot of times, people are very limiting themselves by their title, by their job description, and think they cannot influence and make a difference because their role prescribe certain things that they can do and cannot do. And usually I walk with them about what is I like to talk about the circle of influence and the circle of worry. And what can they influence? What are the things that they can influence and can do? And usually it's way beyond what is written on their job description and what is in their circle of worry. So things they worry about, but they have no control of. And it's kind of similar to what you mentioned about the list of things you can control and cannot control. And people usually are surprised of how many things they can actually influence and how many things they can do and make a difference that they haven't thought about. And even if it's not written on their job description, they can take initiatives, they can do different things, and then that will help them progress and not just feel better, but also progress in their careers.
Yeah, I like that word influence. I really think that's a great way to look at it because you can definitely influence other people. You can influence an environment. By what you think and what you say and how you act, you can have influence. You can't control what the other person does, but you still can have that influence by projecting kindness or projecting confidence or projecting compassion towards other people. You can influence people to control their thoughts, their actions, and their words. So I like that concept of influence being a part of another way of looking at controlling an environment or controlling, your influence over other people. Because I know that through people's examples, other people can change the way that they think and the way that they act because someone has set an example that's influenced them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like that.
I mean, I'm inspired by others all the time. And there's these girls that I'm working with, and they inspire me all the time to think outside the box and to believe in myself more and to have more confidence. So I definitely think that we influence those around us, and a lot of the times I think that we're not really truly aware of how much we influence the environment around us by the attitude and the energy that we put out.
Absolutely. Yeah, and just by
another thing.
The act.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you.
We a lot of times don't appreciate the behaviors, the things that we choose to do, and how we set an example to other people. And as you mentioned, like, we cannot control what other people do and how they react, but we can control our actions, our set of mind, our approach, and that is very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I was thinking of is asking ourselves, does that empower you or disempower you? And I think focusing on the things that we can control is a lot more empowering than focusing on the things that we can't.
Yes, definitely. I just want to say that there are some situations where we can be in an environment that bring us to a lot of frustration because we try to set an example, we try to do whatever, we can, and the environment is not the right environment for us. So usually, when people reach high frustration levels, because, a lot of times in corporate environments, for example, where they're trying to make an influence, they're trying to make a difference, they're trying to change things, and just, there's a lot of resistance, and it just doesn't work no matter what they do. And because obviously we said we cannot control others, we can control our actions, and we can try to influence. So sometimes it's people need to think whether that's the right environment for them or not. So I'm not saying, if you can't influence, just walk away immediately, but sometimes you may need to question yourself whether the environment you're at is the right one for you.
Yeah. And being able to trust your ability to sense that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we are actually getting down to our last few minutes. So I want to give you a moment to share with the audience where they can find you, how they can get a hold of you, and if you have anything going on that you would like to share with them.
Sure. So I invite everyone to find me on LinkedIn. The handle is Limor Bergman. And also my website, limorbergman.com. And right now I'm focused mainly on my coaching business. So anyone that is feeling stuck or, they are not sure what the next step in their career, feel free to reach out to me. And that's what I do, and I enjoy doing that. And thank you so much for having me today. It's been a pleasure, and sorry for all the confusion.
Oh, no worries. No worries. Yeah. What if there was what?
I was just going to say maybe you want to have her post those links on our page so that people can easily find her.
Yeah, definitely. Put them in our Facebook group, and so that people can have easy access to your website. And you can post your LinkedIn, a link to your LinkedIn profile as well. That would be awesome. For sure.
Absolutely.
So if there was one thing that you would want our audience to walk away with tonight, what would that be, Limor?
Believe in yourself. Trust your instincts. They are powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the one thing I would want to leave your audience with today.
Awesome. Thank you. Terry, how about you?
Yeah, I think that that's really important, to believe in yourself. And like I said before, I think for me, faith and trust and belief are all kind of synonyms of the same word. And so being able to trust yourself, have faith in yourself, and believe in yourself, and then trust in the process. You know, trust in once you've made a decision, trust in the process that comes from carrying that out, you know, living that. And don't, you know, just trust yourself in that process, using discernment, just like she was talking about, you know, knowing when maybe it's not the right situation, not the right person, you know, so you want to have that trust, but you also want to access discernment so that you can still be open to that intuition that's going to guide you to go further with that particular decision, or pull back and make another decision, or tweak that decision, and trust that process as you're going through living and paying attention to your intuition.
Yeah, love that. Thank you. Yeah, for me, my number one baby step is look where you are already trusting yourself. There's got to be at least one area in your life where you're trusting yourself. There probably are several areas in your life where you're trusting yourself, and build on that. If you can do it in one area of your life, you can do it in any area of your life. So just continue to take baby steps and take those risks, those baby steps forward, and see where you can expand your trust of yourself. And once you trust yourself more fully, you'll be able to trust the process, trust your higher power, trust others, and it won't be as much of a challenge because you will more fully trust yourself. So that is my one thing for tonight. We want to thank you so much for being here with us, Limor. We appreciate you giving us of your time and your talent to share with our audience. We want to thank, Terry, thank you for being here with me always.
My pleasure.
And we want to remind you that the 12 Steps to Freedom were created by Rhonda Britton, the CEO and founder of the Fearless Living Institute. If you would like to know more about Fearless Living, please go to fearlessliving.org. If you'd like to know more about Terry and I, please go to fearlessgenerations.org. You can find out everything about us there, all the things that we have coming up. Remember, we always have 2 workshops going on each month. The second Saturday of the month from 10 to 11:30 Pacific time, and the fourth Monday of the month from 5:30 to 7 Pacific time, we have workshops going on. So make sure that you go and check those out and join us. As well as you can follow us on all social medias under Fearless Generations. And we would love to hear from you, hear what the show's doing for you, hear about the guest coaches that we have had on the show. Also on the website are all the past episodes. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, and tons of others. But those are the 3 most popular. So go check us out there as well. And we thank you for coming back each week. We thank you for being along this journey with us as we take the 12 steps to freedom. And until next week, everybody, be fearless.
Good night.
We all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once, and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.